The clock shows 5 in the morning, and the alarm clock starts ringing. Nearby the phone is charging, which is also ringing. The main character wakes up from the alarm clock, although he really wants to sleep, looks at the phone, and realizes that yesterday he barely caught the last train. He is surprised that it is already morning. He sees that no messages about failures have arrived and feels relieved. Today he has a meeting and needs to arrive earlier. His name is Akihiro Mikawa. He is 35 years old. He is a systems engineer at a large company. The main character changes clothes and shivers from the cold. He sees on TV that the city is preparing for the holidays. Akihiro realizes that it is already the end of the year, but his life has not changed. He wakes up in the morning, goes to work, works quietly, returns home on the last train, has dinner alone, and goes to sleep. This is how every day passes. In the last few years, only the fact that he has gained a few extra kilograms has changed, and he thought that he needs to go on a diet and exercise. And he will live an ordinary, boring life for another 10, then 20 years. But that day, something happened to him. As soon as the main character decides to leave the house for work, he is suddenly illuminated by a bright light, and he does not understand what it is. The main character turns around in shock, notices that the door has disappeared, finds himself in emptiness and asks to explain what is happening and if there is anyone here. Something tells him that the owner is trying to find out what is happening. Because of this, the skill expert appears. The owner is also trying to figure out where he is. Because of this, the skill evaluation appears. And Echihiro thinks about what this means and what these skills are. The owner has great experience and knowledge, has acquired the ability to create. The guide understands nothing and asks the voice who it is. He is told that it is a support system that sends people to the other side. The guy is shocked and asks again where it is sending him, demands the system to return him back, and suddenly he begins to fall somewhere. The system wishes the main character a pleasant journey. The hero hears the sounds of the forest and the smell of earth, as if he returned to childhood, when he went to the mountains with his grandfather, and again someone calls him by name. When he was a child, his grandfather told him that their trap worked and a boar fell into it. Akihiro said that was cool. The grandfather asked him not to come close. He had a long stun gun in his hands. Then they cut the boar, cooked and ate its meat. The main character told his grandfather that it was very tasty. The grandfather told Akihiro that he could also cook and would teach him. The boy was happy. The main character recalls these memories. Then the boy lies down on the grass and closes his eyes. Notices that he is already falling asleep. His back hurts badly. He realizes that today is a work day, and there is a meeting at the company ahead. After these thoughts, he suddenly wakes up and sits up. The boy sitting on the ground raises his head in surprise, sees many trees in front of him, and does not understand where he is. He realizes that he is as if in a forest and does not know why he is here. The meeting should have already started. In all these years he had never been late, and now this happened. Nothing can be done. He needs to find out if there is a store here. Because of the stones, he sees nothing. The main character barely climbs onto a rock, looks ahead and is shocked to see a huge forest in front of him, with cliffs protruding in places in the middle. The main character nervously looks ahead, again thinks about where he is, squats down and tries not to panic because he needs to calmly think everything over. He is clearly not in Japan now. Probably there are no people, food, or water nearby. They need to be found as soon as possible. This is a forest and dangerous predators may live in it. The main character rummages through his bag and sees a lighter, a charger, a set of tools, and a utility knife as the only weapon, but doubts whether such a small knife is suitable as a weapon. The man sighs and thinks that he is a technical engineer and does not know how to survive in this wild forest. He sharpens a thick stick with the knife and makes himself a club. This is the best he can do. Then he hears some sound, stands up and asks if anyone is here. Akihiro notices something black crawling in the grass. He realizes that it is most likely a snake. It is very large and turns out to be a Japanese grass snake. When the snake rises and hisses at him, he presses it to the ground with the stick. The main character takes it in his hands and notices that it is similar, but slightly different. Then it spits poison, and he is amazed. He sees a screwdriver among the tools and stabs the snake's head with it. The snake lies dead on the ground, and Akihiro says it was quite dangerous. He does not know what kind of snake it was, and then he notices in surprise a glowing orb flying out of its body and soaring through the air. He asks what it is. The system reports that the basic stealth skill is learned at 0.03%, and that it is a wise system that gives him skills in this world and can serve as a personal assistant. Akihiro says he is glad to meet and pleased that he can talk to someone. His name is Akihiro Mikawa. He is registered as the owner. Does he have any questions? And he says that when he killed the snake, he gained a skill. What does that mean? The system says there are 3 main skills he acquires when transferred to this world: mastery, creation, and evaluation. And besides the main skills that improve with level up, there are also secondary skills, and it asks what the stealth skill does. This allows him to hide his presence, meaning it will be harder for others to notice him. He asks what kind of ninja this is and how to use it. The system says that until he reaches 100% mastery, it is impossible to use it, and he is still far from mastering the skill. He suspected it, but now he is completely sure that he is not in Japan. But in another world, why is he here if he is not the chosen one? He understands that here he can only try to survive and has no time for regret, so he asks the system if this snake can be eaten, and the system says that it can be checked through evaluation. The main character uses the evaluation skill and sees information about the snake nearby. It can be eaten. He prepared the snake and realizes that it looks quite edible. Akihiro approaches the snake, says it is very tasty and similar to eel, thanks for the treat. Thinks he needs to find a safe place to spend the night and notices something in the forest. He understands that this looks like a trap, so there may be people here, but hardly friendly ones. He imagines savages and realizes that it is better to find good weapons first. A man wanders through the forest and reaches a river, notices many stones and decides that this one will do. He twists a rope from plant fibers, takes 2 stones and makes a figure from them. After this, he takes a stone axe. If he sharpens a stick, he will get a wooden spear, so at least he is no longer unarmed and hears some sound. The main character realizes that this is a very familiar light to which he must return, approaches the trap, and notices a boar stuck in it. That man is impressed by how big the boy turned out to be and notices a person nearby, more precisely a girl whom he finds very cute. The girl is standing with an axe in her hands. This blue-eyed blonde tightly grips the axe and understands that he must do it. However, the main heroine understands that she will not succeed because such an axe will not pierce the boar's skin. The girl strikes the boar, but it pushes her back and she falls. The girl falls to the ground. The board suddenly attacks her. She screams and falls into despair. Suddenly, the axe hits the leg of the board and injures it. The board growls and turns. The girl is surprised. The main character stands before her and tells her to get up quickly. The boy understands that he instinctively stepped forward. Even an ordinary boar is dangerous. This one is even bigger, but retreating is definitely not an option. The main character understands that the boar is wounded and therefore not as fast. He has a chance to win. He tries to calm down and thinks that if he gets caught under the tusks, he will die. A boar charges at the main character. Akihiro decides to take advantage of the moment and attacks the boar, causing blood to splash. The dead boar falls to the ground, a weapon sticking out of it. The basic skill courage has been learned by 0.2%. Akihiro is glad that he managed it. He looks at the boar and thinks that it's good he made himself a weapon, because without it he definitely could have died. The girl behind looks at him in surprise. Akihiro asks the girl if she is okay and if she is not hurt. The boy realizes that he helped the blonde and doubts whether she even understands what he is saying to her. The boy realizes that first he has to show her that he is not an enemy. He throws the weapon on the ground and kneels down, taking a defenseless pose. The girl shyly says that she is fine. The main character is surprised that she speaks Japanese. The system informs him that it automatically translates any language into the owner's native language. He finds the system amazing. The girl tells him that it's good he is not injured because she was very worried, thanks him for the help, and smiling calls him her dear husband. The main character looks at her embarrassed, so the girl says that she agrees with his proposal, but the boy does not understand which proposal exactly she means. The girl tells the boy that he put down the weapon and showed her that in her country he is unarmed. This means that he wants to spend his whole life with the girl. She shyly admits that this is exactly why she accepts the proposal he just made. The main character himself did not understand how. But it seems he made her a proposal. She calls him dear and says she is glad to see him. Akihiro does not know what to do. When the main character suddenly found himself in another world, he helped one girl, but knew nothing about local customs and accidentally proposed to her. The main heroine is shocked that she agreed to this proposal. The smiling girl suggests going to the village and introducing him to everyone. The boy thinks it would be good to find a human settlement, so for now he leaves everything as it is and decides to resolve this misunderstanding later. And for now, it's better to get to the village. The girl smiles and apologizes for the late greeting. Says her name is Liz Aisha. She is 15 years old. She is a young adventurer, and the main character is shocked that there is a 20-year age difference between them. The boy thinks that cannot be. She clearly does not look 15. He confessed to a minor girl. But he did not know that the boy denies everything that happened. The girl tells him that he probably does not know, but in this world at 15 years old they are already considered adults, so there will be no problems, and the main character understands this and feels relieved. Liza Isha asks if she can know his name. The main character stands up and says his name. The girl asks again. The girl is surprised that the main character has a surname and thinks he might be a nobleman, but Akihiro rejects her assumption. The main character tells Lizaisha that it is just a tradition from his homeland. At home everyone has surnames, so she can just call him Akihiro. And in this world only aristocrats have surnames, so from now on she should be more careful. She understands this and addresses him by his name. The boy is surprised at how smart she is. He realizes that he has not communicated with girls at all in the last few years. The girl says she cannot just call him by his name because they are not that close yet. It's not that she dislikes it, she just wants to get to know him better first. The boy realizes he has created another problem. Lizaisha is embarrassed and tells Akihiro that he is too persistent, understands that this is another misunderstanding and does not know what to feel. The girl suggests for now to focus on prey and drain blood from him. The boy agrees and admits that it is right, wonders how she will carry such a huge body weighing at least 300 kilograms. And the girl pulls him up a tree with a rope. The main character wonders where she got such strength. He remembers that he has a skill, uses evaluation, and sees that her strength is 1.22. The boy asks the system what its ability means. The system says it fills the human body with magical energy and makes it stronger. Magical energy fills this world and allows the use of magic. The main character understands that this is like a fantasy game, but for a person who grew up in the world of science, it is too complicated. The girl says that the blood has been drained. Now they can cut the carcass. There is a river nearby. It is worth washing the meat and cooling it. This way it will last longer. The sun is already setting. It is time for them to return. Lizaisha says he handles meat well and asks if he was a hunter before. Akihiro says no. His grandfather lived in the mountains, and he sometimes helped him during hunting. The girl understands this. The girl apologizes for the wait and says that you can go. She adds that the village is 5 kilometers away. The boy did not think she would be so close and asks for permission to ask a question. The main character says that he is now 35. He is much older than her, and they have just met. So he asks if she is sure she wants to become his wife. She knew that there was a big age difference between them, but she did not care. New acquaintances always begin with people getting to know each other. This is the only way to build relationships. The main heroine thought she would be upset. The girl says she does not care about others' opinions because she likes him. This embarrassed Akihiro. Besides, they have many ways to rejuvenate. They will do everything possible to stay in place as long as possible. The main character is surprised by this. The boy addresses the system and asks what truly exists. Yes, medicine or artifacts, and there is also the divine spell rejuvenation. Akihiro understands that this really exists. It also means that God really exists and may be helping to prolong his life. But this is another world, and if there is magic there, then there is God, so they do not think about it anymore. Lizaisha reports that they are there. She wants to greet him in the village of Taruka, and the main character was surprised that it was much bigger than he expected. The girl smiles and says that it is already very late, so he should stay with them for the night. Akihiro thanks the girl and admits that he is really out of money, but she says there is no need to thank her. Lizaisha comes home and asks her father if he is at home. The blonde man greets her and asks his daughter if she checked their trap. The main character thinks that this man is so tall that it is immediately clear he is a hunter. The girl says that today was very hard and wants to introduce him to someone, which surprises the man. The girl admits that the guy next to her saved her and then proposed to her. Lisa's father looks at Akihiro in surprise. The guy thinks about how she gave everything away so easily, realizes that things are bad. The main character bows, apologizes for the trouble, and says his name. The man smiles and says that he is Asti. Let the guy come in, he wants to hear all the details. Hiroaki wonders if he will be killed, apologizes for the concern, and thinks that it can't get worse because his 15-year-old daughter suddenly brought home a stranger and said that he proposed to her. Then the girl appears and tells him that she is glad to see him. She is Liza's mother, Tia. The hero drinks tea and marvels at how tasty it is. The girl's father tells his daughter that he does not quite understand everything and asks her to explain everything to him. The girl tells how the big guy got caught in the trap, then she swung, then he blocked the attack. Then Akihiro appeared, and now the guy is pondering what kind of explanation this is. She tells that Akihiro defeated Bura, then put down his weapon, got down on one knee, and proposed to her. She agreed because she was sure it was fate. Why did she describe the moment of the proposal in such detail? The man says he understood what the other thinks, or if he really understood everything. The man tells the girl that she is in a hurry. This does not mean that he does not like Akihiro. He understands that he saved her life, but she is in too much of a hurry to get married, although probably they are suitable in age. The man says that something is happening again among the nobility. Due to family problems, the young aristocrat urgently needs to get married. But he rejected all the candidates, so he went out for a walk, fell in love at first sight, and immediately proposed to her. The man asks the main character if he is right, and the boy says no, he is not an aristocrat. The main character believes that the most important thing now is to choose the right facts. If he says he was an engineer at a big company, no one will understand him because he worked in a merchant's house. But that morning he was suddenly enveloped in bright light, and he woke up in the forest. Everyone was surprised. The man asks if he is a merchant, but he is wearing very good quality woolen clothes. The girl says that it is true. She definitely cannot sew such a thing. The fabric is very slippery. She does not know where to start. And besides, she has never seen such exquisite material before. Liza asks her mother to stop. Her mother apologizes, and the girl explains that her mother sews clothes. The man says that such a merchant must definitely have a large shop, and the boy understands that he told them a lot, but did not think through the details to the end. Now it is impossible to arouse their suspicion. The main character says that he has problems now and tells the story about getting married. He asks for permission to stay with them for the night. The man says that they, of course, do not mind. Asks Liz to take the guest to her brother's room. The guy asks about it, and Liz says that her brother has now gone on business to another village. She leads him to the room and says she will bring him water later so he can wash up. The boy thanks her. Today was a very hard day. The girl apologizes for having little to offer them. She will call him when dinner is ready. The main character thanks her. The girl says it's no big deal. The boy thinks she is very nice. The hero looks at his hand and thinks that the mark is gone, remembers the wedding and realizes that it is definitely not about him. Liza's mother asks about work and the surprise, and the main character says he wants to help them somehow. Understands that they let him stay overnight and even fed him for free, but he feels like a real parasite. First, he needs to register with the Adventurers Guild. The main character sees Esto and Liz in front of him. The main character wishes Esto good morning and asks if he is going to work. He says that his back hurt yesterday, so Liz went alone. The boy understands why she fought the monster alone. The girl says she is still a novice and needs to learn a lot from her father. The boy wishes her luck and asks her not to do anything reckless. The girl agrees, and the boy asks what a guild is. The man tells him that various tasks can be performed in the guild, but first you need to register. It is a large building in the center of the village, and they do not let you in there. The girl says she can take him there. He says they need to prepare for the hunt. The girl gets upset and wishes Akihiro good luck. Her father suggests leaving. Liz's mother tells Akihiro that they are acting like newlyweds, but the boy did not mean it that way. The main character says he is going to the guild now, but the girl asks him to wait. She gives him a vest and says it is their son's clothing and will fit him. The main character thinks the pants do not fit him, but they say they suit him. He thanks everyone and leaves because he understands that they sheltered and helped him in a difficult moment, and he cannot repay them, so he needs to find a job. At the Adventurers Guild, the main character is surprised that the signs are written in Japanese, and the system reports that it automatically translates the local language so the owner can understand everything. He is greeted by a kind girl, welcomed to the Adventurers Guild, and asked if he wants to register. The main heroine says that yes, he should be given an explanation of the rules. Depending on his merits, he will be assigned a rank. All beginners start at 10. The highest is considered rank 1. The higher the rank, the better the rewards. He shouldn't be made a hero on the very first quest. Let him calmly complete missions and gradually rise in rank. Only one quest can be taken at a time. She asks him if he is ready to register after familiarizing himself with the rules. For starters, they need a drop of his blood. Let him use this needle. He needs to drip blood onto this plaque. The main hero does this and notices that it absorbed his blood. How does this work? The girl gives him a guild card. It can serve as an identity card. The card has a direct connection to the soul, so if he dies, it will be reflected on it. He can also use the ritual services of their guild in advance through the cards, because he believes he is not going to die yet. The main hero says that this will be the first time he actually works as an adventurer, and asks her to choose a quest for him, and the girl replies that this might suit him. The main hero digs in the field and looks for the required herb, then notices the same herbal vase. He is not sure if this is the right herb. The girl said they urgently need to collect herbs. They pay 800 for 5 pieces. Due to urgency, Vil was assigned. The reward was increased. During the mission, he can encounter monsters. The danger is low, but he still needs equipment, and there can be 2 types of monsters on the mission. The horned rabbit and goblin were supposed to return home to borrow a knife tied to a stick from Tisha. If monsters are weak like in games, he still does not want to meet them. Thanks to his ability to evaluate, he easily found the herb, so he quickly gathered the required amount. His goal was to collect 100 pieces. He thinks that the day before yesterday, as always, he was working at the computer, and even had subordinates. He wonders what is happening there now. although she is convinced that not many workers are needed there and they will manage without him. He was always busy with work and had no time for relationships. That was his mistake. He divorced after 2 years, decided to focus on work, and eventually ended up completely alone. Therefore, the main character did not think that someone would be able to accept him. But Liz touched his heart. He remembers her words that she does not care about others' opinions because she liked him. However, the guy says that he is not ready for marriage yet and definitely needs to discuss it with her. So Akihiro tries to focus on work. Then next to the main character lies a large bag of grass, and Akihiro says that he finally did everything. After that, he feels pain and sits on the ground. His back hurts. He is not used to hard work. He will rest first, and then carry the grass to the guild. The main character suddenly notices that something is moving in the grass in front of him, but it is not visible who exactly. It turned out to be a goblin with a stick. The main character is shocked and thinks that this is the monster he was warned about in the guild. It seems he is looking for something because he noticed Akihiro. If nothing is done, sooner or later he will find him. Maybe attack first, sneaking up from behind and thinking about how quickly to run up and kill with one blow. The main character flew out of the bushes, waving a homemade weapon, stabbed it into the goblin's head, and it fell lifeless to the ground. However, the main character does not stop, and to be sure to kill the monster, delivers another blow. Spear skill increases by 0.16%, and alertness by 0.08%. He remembers the girl's words that if he kills the goblin, he must bring its nose or ear as proof, and he realizes that he will have to cut off the ear. But there is no other choice. It is necessary for the job. Then in the guild building, the appraiser holds a tray with herbs, asks about Azu's herbs, and one goblin confirms and asks the main hero to wait a bit. Yes it. The boy looks around and thinks it might be too early because no people are visible. The appraiser apologizes for the delay and returns, saying that for one goblin they will give 2,000 vil, and for 100 bundles of herbs 16,000, a total of 18,000 vil. Their herb supplies wazoo are almost finished. He thanks Hiroaki for bringing so much. The main hero asks why it is so important. The specialist says that a good medicinal remedy is made from it, diluted in water and applied to wounds. They are very grateful. The main hero is glad to have completed the first task and received money. Now he is truly happy. The main hero sees smoke from the house and thinks that Lazasha has already returned. The girl happily wishes the main hero a pleasant return. The main hero Bin says he has returned. Liz's father says that Liz did well today. There will be poultry for dinner. Liz usually does not like to cook, but today she will make an exception. The daughter is angry at her mother. The man asks the main hero how things are going in the guild. The hero replies that today he completed a task and earned 18,000, and the man says that for the first day that is not bad. He says that if lucky, he can find 2 to 3 bundles a day, has talent and a great future, and believes that all this is thanks to his skill. He says that there is not always work in the guild, so he will not be able to earn a lot every day, and asks to stay here until he raises his rank, and the man immediately agrees. The man says that his brother will not return for another month anyway, so he can live in his room without problems. It seems the hunter in the neighboring village was seriously injured during hunting, and was asked to stay there a little longer. He thanks them for allowing him to stay. The main hero eats the dish Liz prepared, says the meat is very tasty, wonders what it was seasoned with, and the girl says she is glad. He tells her that she cooks well. The meat is perfectly seasoned. She thanks him, and her mother says that after Akihiro appeared she even started cooking. The girl is embarrassed and angry at her mother. The man says that today new tracks were found in the forest. It could have been a large goblin or Goliath, but the tracks are too big. The main character thinks that he hasn't felt simple home comfort for a long time. He doesn't know what awaits him in the future. But right now the most important thing is to raise his rank in the guild. Tomorrow he will devote all his strength to this. The main character stands right by the house and waves a club. Practicing strikes. He is already tired. The main character kneels on one knee. He has no strength left. He doesn't feel his hands at all. He once practiced kendo at school, but has already forgotten how hard it is. Asto tells Akihiro that he lacks endurance, and if he fights monsters for a long time, he will die. The main character apologizes and says that he hasn't trained at all in the last few years, and Asto says that training is very important and asks why he doesn't go to pray at the church. The main character asks about this. Liz appears and asks the same. They can go together. The place where one can pray to the existing god sounds interesting. Then they find themselves at the place where the church of the village Torix stands. The main character reports with surprise that this is really a real church. The main character enters and apologizes. A woman meets him, greets him and asks how she can help. The main character says he is glad to meet her. He came to pray and is visiting the church for the first time, asks her to help. The woman immediately agrees. It seems that in this country there is no single strict religion. The church is a place where everyone can pray, and children are taught to read and write there. Liz also studied there, and the boy understands that it is like Sunday school. The woman tells Akihiro that he can take his time. She will wait for him in the next room. The main character thanks her, then approaches and kneels. He raises his hands and notices that it is almost like a deep bow. Now he needs to close his eyes and can begin the prayer. Suddenly he notices something. The system reports a critical error. The connection is unknown to the system. Akihiro thinks about what is going on. Someone suddenly laughs and says that it is interesting. The man in the white suit and black hat says he is glad to meet and even glad that they finally met. The call is redirected to Akihiro. He invites you into his world. His name is Shaluya. He is the deity of entertainment. The protagonist asks him if he is a god, and he agrees, saying that in this world everyone calls him that. Then Akihiro asks again what happened, and Shaluya says that it is hard to answer and asks that man to introduce himself. The protagonist suddenly announces that his name is Mikawa. Akihiro, then Shaluya, asks permission to explain everything. The transported are guests who came to this world for the first time from another. There are many worlds, and each is governed by its own god. They are completely independent from each other. The protagonist does not quite understand Shaluya's explanation and looks thoughtfully at the boy. Shaluya asks permission to temporarily borrow his knowledge from another world so that we can explain everything to him. He sees this knowledge and thinks about it. Then Shaluya asks that boy to imagine that the whole world is the North and that all people are connected to this server. The gods are its administrators and have certain rules and privileges, so they can connect or disconnect people from the server at any moment. In fact, Shaluya disconnected the main character from the server of his world and connected him to his own, and he asks if that isn't interesting. The main character says that if he connected it to another server, shouldn't the data remain in the browsing history? God admits that he simply falsified the history. The guy asks why. Shaluya asks him if anyone can have such powers. Each server has its own structure, and the one who configures it thinks so. The man thinks about the common good and is interested in the administrator. Shaluya happily reports that it's wonderful. Above them, above the gods, stands only the administrator, and the main character asks why the administrator moved him here. Shaluya says he doesn't know when he noticed changes in his world. He reached out to him but received no response. That man thinks their tech support is terrible, and Shaluya thinks he will respond soon. Regarding his abilities, such a thing has never existed in this world. The expert is like a voice chat. The rating is analogous to their browser, and creation allows mastering new skills. Akihiro listens and says everything is clear. He asks if third-party programs can be used. Shaluya says yes. There is no response from the administrator yet, and he himself is not against it. If the administrator reacts to his presence, he will have to be sent home, but the main character knows he will be able to return. Shaluya informs him that he will take care of him and asks permission to give a small gift as a new resident of his world. He plants some thought in that man's head, wishes him luck several times, and then will wait for their next conversation. Then Shaluya disappears, and the main character remains alone. He turns to the system, which says that the connection is established, the critical error is fixed, and all functions are working normally. The conditions for acquiring skills are met. The skill of prayer and wind control, elemental magic, is obtained. The mastery level has reached 100%. The main character wonders if it was a gift. Too much information has come in and time is needed to process it. The main character sits on a bench under a tree and asks the system what prayer is. It says that it is a skill that allows communication with the gods, and the boy thinks that he can turn to God at any time. He thinks it is worth trying, asks God if he hears him, but there is no answer. Instead, Shaluya responds and asks if there are any questions. The main character apologizes because he wanted to check how his ability works. He did not think everything would be so simple. Shaluya says that if anything happens, he should contact him at any time, because the boy believes that God is very kind. Then he asks the system to tell him about control, a skill that allows him to transform magical energy into spells. It turns out that with these skills he will be able to create spells, and elemental magic remains in question. Combined with control, this allows the use of magic of a certain element. In their case, the owner can control the wind. The man asks permission to use it, but it is easy to master. Since the main character found himself in this world, he really wanted to learn magic. He is sure that with it he will feel calmer, although before it was only a dream. Now at home he will have to work hard and study magical books. He feels pain and therefore decides to train first, not understanding why he quit kendo. At the table, they ask the main character if he wants to learn magic. Akihiro agrees and suggests going to a magic shop if there is one here. Liz joyfully says that the seller in this frame must be a sorcerer. The main character says in surprise that maybe he will help him and that he will go there today. The girl says that she is also with him, but today she has hunting. Akihiro says that she will go hunting and wishes her good luck. The girl agrees, and her mother says that she is so obedient. The man notices the protagonist and greets him, asking if he needs anything, and Akihiro says that he would like to study magic and asks if he can talk to the sorcerer. In that case, he will have to go through those doors. Behind the doors sits a man who asks Akihiro how he can help him. The main character says that he heard that he can help with learning magic, and asks Akihiro if he is a beginner in magic. He looks at the man and reports that he clearly has control skills, so where did he learn this? The main character admits that he did not study this. It appeared by the whim of God. He understands that it is about the god of entertainment, and tells the boy that in that case he just needs practice. The man says that his name is Bastia Akihiro, and repeats his name again. Bastia asks him if he knows his attribute, and the main character says that it seems to be victory. Bastia says that he is, of course, not very knowledgeable about this, but they will see what can be done with it. To start, Akihiro has to try to create a small sphere from the air, hold it in his hand and spin it with magic. Bastia does this, and the main character says that it is amazing and looks like a small wind ball. Then he needs to release it. Bastion releases the ball and it hits the name right in the center of the target. I hear that it was surprised. Bastia asks the boy if he can manage it. Akihiro decides to try, and Bastia asks him not to forget about the technique, to determine the element of the spell, to put power into this moment, to imagine the form, and then imagine the spell in his hand. And finally, let him imagine throwing it at the target. Each step depends on imagination, and the clearer the idea of the spell, the better the magic will work. To reinforce the image, wizards often pronounce the words of the spell, but if he can clearly imagine everything in his head, then he does not need to say the words. The main character confidently says that of course he will try and asks you to imagine everything in your head. The main character thinks about wind magic, creates a cone 7 mm high and 5 mm in diameter, clearly imagines its shape, and attaches it to his index finger. He points at the center of the target, sets the speed to 250 kilometers, points his finger and launches. The shot hits the center of the target, and Bastia looks at him stunned, letting out a surprised cry. He is surprised that the boy did it on the first try. Does not understand what form he showed, if the victory could break through the wall and how he even did it. Akihiro loses his breath and Bastia asks if he is okay. According to Vastu, the main character overdid the compression of the spell. It is not worth overloading like that. It is better to use simpler magic at first. However, he is even surprised that it worked the first time. The boy says he will not be able to use several spells in a row and one is already enough for him to fall. Bastia explains that the effect of the spell will decrease depending on his level of control. But he does not think it is worth doing it now because his head will hurt badly. Overall, the technique is not complicated, but the main character thinks it is still too early to learn it and asks to explain in more detail. Bastia agrees reluctantly. Better to show him how it works. Earth magic creates small stones and it scares him. Akihiro was surprised. 10 will be enough. He holds them in his hand and launches them at the target at a speed of 150 kilometers per hour. 2 seconds after hitting, they will scatter. Bastia holds flying balls in his hand and directs them straight at the target. They hit precisely. It works better on the ground than in the air, and it can be activated in several different ways, each suitable for a certain situation. With this, you can attack several targets simultaneously, which is very useful for clans. And the main character understands how complicated everything is. Bastia says that the most important thing now is to find your own formula, improve control, and understand your limits. The boy asks how much he owes for the training. When Bashal finds out that the main character is still a complete novice, he says nothing is needed. Let him come when he is at least 8th rank and has free time. The main character realizes he still has time, wants to try magic in practice, will go gather Vasu herbs to earn a little, cannot relax, gathers them and understands that enough for today. The evaluator at the guild thanks Akihiro for his hard work and says they will wait for him again. He is surprised at how many people there are today. The main character notices that all passers-by are looking at him and wonders why, since he did nothing wrong. Maybe he just stands out because he is still a novice and returns home. Tetsuya greets the main character. He gives her a bag of money and says it is not much, but he will definitely earn more. This is payment for her staying with them. The girl says she cannot accept it because he is the future fiancé of their daughter, but Akihiro feels uncomfortable living with them for free. Liz and her father return home, and the main character says they came early today. The man says they decided to finish earlier today. Liz asks Akihiro how everything went, and the main character says he wants to train outside a little later. Say it. He asks to look, notices his worried wife, and asks what happened. She admits that Akijiro paid for the accommodation and does not know what to do. He believes that he truly saved their daughter and proposed to her. But if that is what he wants, they can do nothing about it. She says he works so hard to earn money that she does not understand him. The man suggests simply supporting that boy's decision. Liz looks at the boy with admiration and asks if he can use magic. He replies that he cannot right now because the backlash would be too strong and he would be left powerless. So for now, he only does physical training. The girl admits that she is a little nervous, but Akihiro reassures Liz that everything is fine. He will be careful and gradually get used to the workload. The main character sets a stump and thinks about what to do, but for now wants to learn how to strike the limbs of monsters. He uses wind magic, shapes it into a cone 5mm wide and 1 cm high, holds it on his finger, and releases it at a speed of 120 km. The shell flew through the air and left a small hole in the stump. The main character realizes that he lacked strength. The recoil is quite tolerable. Compared to before, he decides to take a break and then work on accuracy. Liz shouts to the main character that it is starting to rain, and he needs to go home. He agrees with her. He lies in bed thinking that his muscles hurt a lot from daily workouts and that he should not have quit training at school. The girl tells the main character that she brought him medicine. They relieve pain. He thanks her. Liz asks the boy how he feels. He says much better. Her father advised her to take these herbs. Although he does not say it aloud, he is very worried about him. The main character is very grateful. To repay this family for their kindness, he will do everything possible. It would be great if he were not in such bad condition. The girl says that is not true. He works very hard and that is wonderful. The girl is embarrassed, and the main character thanks Liza. He feels a familiar feeling and recalls the sweet taste of youth that passed long ago. He did not think he still had such feelings. Today he went again for Vazu grass. After those medicines, he feels much better. If possible, he wants to practice magic in real combat. He decided to go a little further into the forest. After wandering for some time, the main character comes across 2 goblins and notices that they are eating. Time to practice. He decides to attack them with wind magic. He wants to hit the heart. He activates the spell. The shell pierces one of the goblins. The second looks in confusion at the dead comrade, after which the main hero prepares another attack and shoots. The system reports that the vigilance skill is mastered at 0.01%. His target is the goblin's left leg. He activates the spell. Then he strikes the leg, runs forward, and finishes off the wounded goblin with hand-to-hand weaponry. He is suffocating and realizes that the system message did not arrive and he is not sure if he is still alive. And the system says that this goblin did not have skills corresponding to his level. He thinks that for today, it is worth finishing because only gathering the goblin's ears remains and then returning to the guild, since he does not feel the magical response, and it seems that he is already beginning to get used to it. The appraiser reports that 2 goblins, 4,000 vils, 30 bundles of grass, 24,000 vils. The main character thinks about buying new shoes. Someone touches his hand. The man apologizes, notices the medicinal herbs, and says that there are rumors that their newcomer makes most of his money selling herbs and asks if it is him, and the main character replies that yes, he understands why they were looking at him. The man laughs loudly and apologizes for his persistence. Injuries are inevitable at high ranks, so his herbs help them a lot. Recently, the prices of herbs have risen significantly. He is grateful to Akihiro for his work. That's why they called him Healing Herbs. He worked well and let it be so further. The main character understands that he is sociable and a decent person. The main character does not want to spend his whole life in a dungeon. He just wants to live peacefully. The main character notices 2 girls who asked him if he is a wizard. They really need the help of a powerful wizard. The main character repeats the girl's question in his mind and tells them that they are mistaken. The girl angrily says that it was rude. Her name is Arya. She is a 7th rank adventurer. Let him at least listen to the girl. And the main character admits that he is only a 10th rank novice. The girl apologizes for the suddenness and asks if he could listen to her. Her friend also apologizes a lot. The girl tells Arya that you can't treat others like that, but Arya did not want to offend him. They just want to talk a little. The girls look plaintively, and the main character has no choice, so he agrees, which he does. The meeting will be on the 2nd floor. Their comrades are already waiting. The main character is surprised that they are in a clan. A guy in armor says his name is Daito and thanks Akihiro for coming. The main character understands that Daito is a swordsman, asks what they want from him. They tell him that he is only 10th rank and that a huge slime will soon appear in the forest. He asks how big that slime is and is surprised by the answer. They are big enough to swallow a person. Ordinary slimes are dealt with by swords or simple magic, but swords do not work against a huge specimen, and Wada's magic is not enough. They are the only 7th rank group in this village and cannot refuse the guild, so they need help. When Wati found out that he has wind magic, she suggested asking Akihiro for help. The protagonist says that even if he has it, he is still a novice, and a rank promotion will not benefit him. Dino reports that as a reward for this request, he will be given 70% of 200,000 villas. All his expenses and training will be covered, and the guild will also provide him the opportunity to raise his rank. This request is only for the group, so he will temporarily join their clan. They plan to set out tomorrow morning. The forest is nearby, so one day will be enough for this. If they don't deal with it immediately, it will continue to grow and become a real threat to people. The sooner they handle it, the better. The main character says that he is still a novice and can intervene in the fight, but he will try. All three are happy about this and say goodbye until tomorrow. The main character returns home and is not sure that everything will go so smoothly, although he will be with a 7th rank group. Liz tells the boy that he is late today. He asks what they caught today. The main character says that the man looks tired. He says that after the rain, the trails were washed away. Many traps were destroyed, so there is little prey. The main character asks whether to take more tasks from the guild, but the man asks him not to overwork himself. Before dinner, he decides to prepare his weapons for tomorrow's trip. At the table, he is asked about the giant slime, the hero Mantelzaki, and they say that this task is dangerous for him. Slimes are not very aggressive, but the problem is that he is in the forest. He asked the boy if he was sure because he is only in 10th place, and the boy said that others are in 7th, so everything will be fine and he will help them as much as he can. The man asks the boy to be careful. Aki, the hero, pretends to be very afraid to go deeper into the forest. He knows nothing about the huge slime. Until today, he had killed 3 goblins with a weapon, but he never imagined that he could be wrong in his world. Even if the main character met the true god, he is still an ordinary person and just wants to live peacefully in this world. He does not know if he can truly trust this god, because such power is beyond understanding and with one spell he can kill. In his world he worked, played games, had a family and friends, and wants to return there. He does not want to risk his life every day. He is afraid to die, afraid that because of fear he will not be able to move and will be killed, and he does not want that. Suddenly someone's voice calls the main character by name. It is Liz who takes his hand. The boy is surprised, and Liz says that she called him. But he did not answer. She thought he had become ill. The main character apologizes for that. He was just thinking. The girl sighs with relief. The main character talks about the hand, and suddenly the girl lets go of it. She says that she felt as if he was suffering. He had been acting strangely since he returned, and she decided to check if he was okay. The girl sits in front of him and apologizes for entering the room without permission. Akihiro was lost in thought, but now feels much better and thanks her. She asks him if he is really okay. Akihiro answers yes, thinking that he has completely given in to despair. Liz smiles and asks the main character to try harder tomorrow. She will prepare a very delicious dinner, so let him come back soon. The protagonist smiles and realizes that he has somewhere to return to and that people are waiting for his return. He should not give in to fear. The boy says he is looking forward to dinner. It is interesting what she will cook. Liz has not decided yet, but it needs to be something tasty. She will decide along the way of searching. A man drinks tea and is told that the most dangerous animals they might encounter are wolves. They never hunt alone. Wolves are assigned rank 8, but a group of rank 7 will have no problems. Akihiro must remember the main thing. In the forest, you can never relax. Danger can lurk at every step. He understands this and is about to leave. Mother Liz gives him something and asks him to take it with him. The boy agrees. Liz asks him to be careful. The boy calls her by name and wishes her luck hunting. The girl is surprised that he called her by name for the first time. The heroine says that it is true. Only close ones call her that, and she is glad about it. She adds with a smile that then she can simply call him a hero. She suddenly blushes and agrees. The hero thinks how sweet she is and tells her she doesn't have to force herself. The girl decides to call him, calls him a hero, and wishes him luck. The boy left yesterday. He was nervous but now completely calm. Although he is still a little scared, he feels that he can do it and wonders if this is true confidence. The protagonist decided that he would not give up. He will defeat this slime. He activates the creation skill and masters the daredevil skill 100%. The dark-haired boy wishes the hero good morning. His name is Hattis. He will be their guide, so if everyone is ready, we can set off. They are heading to the northern forest. The whole group is going through the forest. They have entered the territory of monsters, so they must be on alert. The hero doubts whether the giant slime is really here and fears that it might have moved to another place. But Hades says not to worry because the slime moves very slowly. The hero decides to check the map once again. The girl notices his watch and asks if it is a magical artifact. But the boy says no, it is just a watch with a compost. The blonde man says that this object probably shows direction and helps track time. And the main character reports this and notices that the man speaks just like his grandfather. Suddenly they notice something, hear a noise, and 2 goblins with weapons fly out of the bushes. The goblins do not manage to do anything because the blonde man with a sword quickly runs up and immediately kills both. The main character is amazed at how quickly it happened. The power of level 7 is simply incredible. He says they will probably find Slima soon. The girl behind gathered the materials so they can set off. The group continues to move forward, and the main character is worried because he has a bad feeling. Someone addresses Hedis and tells him that a pack of wolves has surrounded them. Someone orders everyone to get ready. Someone addresses Vatis, and the main character sees in surprise that she begins to sing. Suddenly the wolves tremble and die. The main character is shocked. He asks what that was. The girl says she is not very skilled in powerful spells. The girl says that she put small fiery balls inside the wolves and simply burned their lungs. The main character finds it creepy, and would never have thought that a sweet girl could be so cruel. The guy says the pelts will sell well, but it will take a lot of time, so they will take them on the way back. They still have a couple of hours to drive according to the map. Hedis tells the hero that he is a bit nervous. The hero apologizes for not saying it earlier. Hedis understands because this task is not for beginners. It is too early to say, but he thanks him for agreeing to help. It is still unknown whether this help will be needed, and he feels that Aid seems like an ordinary man in the crowd. The hero cannot even remember his face when he closes his eyes. It is too ordinary, and it seems to be those who are called extras. The main character says that he is glad their group is so united. They have been together for a long time, all friends since childhood, and know each other and their weaknesses well. The hero is surprised by this and thinks how lucky he is to be simultaneously a friend of 2 beauties, even feeling a bit jealous, and suddenly notices something. Hades is killing some beast, and the main character thinks in surprise that this is exactly what the guild member meant, so he needs to apologize for calling him secondary. They keep going, almost at the place. The hero thinks that having come this far, there is no turning back, so he is confident that they will definitely manage. In the middle of the trees, they come across a giant slime, and the main character realizes that it is much bigger than he had imagined. He is not sure that they can handle such a monster because it is 3 meters tall. In the slime, he notices a ball and thinks it is his nucleus. It resembles a candy with filling. Defeating it is not as difficult as it seems. Hadis reports that a sufficiently powerful strike can damage the core. The slime will die immediately. The core must be destroyed. The main character asks to throw a stone at him because he wants to understand how he moves. His partner agrees and throws a stone at the enemy. The stone bounces off. The hero notices that he started moving, then stops, and the boy realizes that he has returned to the beginning. Tiz asks the boy not to damage the core too much because they want to take it and bring it to the guild. The hero asks if they are going to collect slime. He replies that no, they don't need it. The main hero thinks to first destroy the slime around to defeat it. For this, he will have to spend a lot of magic and will definitely faint. So he starts with a medium strength shot. The boy decides to try. Everyone is counting on him. The boy points with his finger. His hand trembles. He is still very nervous but must pull himself together because if he is not killed, many people could suffer. So he has to manage. He creates an air sphere with a diameter of 3 meters, compresses it to 10 centimeters, forms a cone 7 millimeters wide and 1 centimeter high, holds it on his finger and twists the cone to give it additional power. He thinks that half the speed of a bullet will be enough for him. He decides to shoot at a speed of 700 kilometers. The hero aims slightly to the right of the core and activates the spell. The airflow hits the slime. The slime disintegrates, and everyone shouts that it is wonderful. The boy thinks that he only slightly touched the core. The slime scattered much more strongly than he expected. The main hero is told that he can handle it himself. He has already worked well and can now rest. The joyful main hero suddenly vomits. The girl nervously sits next to him and thanks him for coming so far for them. The boy says it's nothing. He has never felt so nauseous before. He suspects that it is due to strong compression. He needs to check his limits because he feels bad. They dig through the slime and find the core. Hati says he has never seen such a large core, and the boy asks for confirmation that it is worth it. Keti promises to take this into account next time when placing an order, and the guy really hopes for it. The main character approaches and says that it looks like a core. It is very large. They ask if he is okay. He replies that he is, and adds that when they return, he will need to rest. He thanks them for their care. The blonde says that it is amazing. He did not imagine that his magic would be so strong. They thank him for the help, say that he did a great job and his magic is impressive. The hero says that he does not yet fully know his limits because he recently mastered magic. Suddenly Arya notices something. The girl shouts to everyone that she does not even know what it is, but it is approaching them very quickly. Everyone decides that they need to run away quickly. Hades apologizes that he was caught off guard because it is already approaching. The man informs everyone that Vitus will carry the core, Hades will run ahead, and he and Arya will cover the group. The main character wonders what is happening here and asks if it is a wolf. Ketty says no, it is not just a wolf. The sound is heard again throughout the forest and people think it is like a whole pack of wolves. The main character thinks that he has almost no strength left, he is only holding them back. If they do nothing, they will definitely be caught. The hero apologizes and says that he cannot run any further. The guy suggests climbing a tree and trying to kill them all with magic. They tell him that his magic is certainly strong, but they doubt if he has enough strength to handle the whole pack. The hero says that he needs to rest a little, and then he will manage. After all, their behavior is most likely to be the same as ordinary wolves. They do not have time to think, so this idea should be used. Everyone climbs trees, and the main character realizes that now he will have to run every day because the leg muscles have weakened a lot. The girl screams that they are here. Wolves appear right next to her. Their fur is very dark. Everyone is surprised at how big they are. They are 3 times bigger than a normal wolf. They ask Kates what kind of monsters these are. The boy admits that he does not know because he has never encountered such, and the main character decides to try the test. It turns out these are wolves that have lived for a long time in an area filled with magic. They are much stronger than ordinary wolves. The wolves raise their heads and howl. The girl says that usually there are no more than 10 wolves in a pack, but she has already counted more than 20. It seems that with their howling they attract other wolves. The man addresses Vatis. She says she understood him, and the girl emotionlessly activates her spell. She directs the magic at one of the wolves. It falls and whines, but then gets back on its feet. Hades, shocked that fire magic did not work, kept their mouths shut so that the fire would not reach their internal organs, and the main character thinks that the magic did not work and doubts his correctness. The wolves stand by the tree and silently look up. The hero notices that they cannot climb the tree and decides to try to attack them with magic. He compresses the spell to 5 millimeters, increases the pressure, forms a cone from it, holds it on his finger, and decides to release it at a speed of 150 kilometers, aims and activates, believing that such power should be enough. The shell hits the wolf and tears it apart. The main character is happy because it worked, but Hetty says things are very bad. There are many more of them, and their number will continue to grow. The hero is asked how quickly he can activate magic and how much strength he has. He needs to deal with them before there are too many. Right now, he does not have the strength to deal with them one by one, so he is thinking of trying several activations, and no other way is visible. The system informs the protagonist that simultaneous activation of magic is currently too dangerous. There is a high risk of serious bodily harm. The main character is surprised by the warning from the system. He does not want to rely on this skill, but there is no other way and he decides to turn to God. He wrote about the consequences. After multiple activations, he asks God to respond quickly because the situation is worse than ever. The voice says her name is Alex Toa. She is responsible for communication with God. The connection is established. When using a large amount of magic, he will feel worse and start to feel nauseous. These are the first symptoms. With even greater use of magic, brain damage is possible. This must be avoided. The hero is surprised. It seems his condition is really serious, so this time they will help him. But he must be ready to lose consciousness for a few days, and the boy thanks God for that. This time he avoided the consequences, but many shells will need to be made immediately. The howling can no longer be heard, so most likely the entire herd has gathered here, about 30 of them. The main character addresses Gaddis and says he will deal with all the wolves now, but then faints and asks for help because he will now use everything he has. The main character aims at the wolves and counts them, imagining a target on each head and counting 34 targets. He uses wind magic, compresses it, and increases the pressure, gives it a conical shape, sets the speed to 150 kilometers per hour, and decides to create a projectile for each target. He will do everything to return home, and the main character activates the spell. Then all the wolves simultaneously tear her to pieces. Everyone looks at this in shock and considers it incredible. Everyone is glad that he succeeded, and the boy stands motionless and silent. The main character realizes that all the wolves are dead and can now return, but then loses consciousness. The hero realizes he is losing consciousness and relies on hot cheese, then sees a man in a hat in front of him. He says he is glad to meet and that he is Electoa. The man is also glad to meet. Electoa helps guests as his duty. The man asks why he is in a suit, and Electoa replies that in his world this is not formal wear, and he thought such a suit would be suitable for meeting guests. The hero says that in his country the official clothing is a kimono. Electoa says it is very difficult to wear. The hero notices his honesty and asks where they are. Alitoa says that this can be considered the world of his subconscious, and he will stay here until he comes to his senses, because Alitoa wanted to talk to him and this place is perfect. Unlike their god, he is not so stupid and simple-minded. The boy wonders if he can speak like that about God. Electua monitors the server update and gives access to other gods, talks about his Earth server. The number of views on it is impressive. He did not expect such popularity and asks about the popularity of Earth. Alex Toa says that everyone, of course, likes Earth because their world is essentially its copy. They copied the genetic code of their server and based on it created this world. The boy understands why this world is similar to his. Each server has its own theme, for example. His is the development of civilization, and this server's goal is for everyone to live as happily as possible. Each person has their own idea of happiness, and eventually they had to accept certain worlds to avoid war, and the hero reflects on a world without wars, which seems like a utopia. They are especially interested in Japanese culture. All the admins are very passionate about games, anime, and manga, and the main character realizes that otaku can be found even among gods. Alex Toa is interested in his food, especially thinly fried slices of potatoes, and the hero clarifies whether it is about chips that have a very diverse and unusual taste. Alitoa asks the boy when he will wake up. To spread their chip recipe in their world, the inhabitants accidentally took them for leaves and were poisoned, so now no one dares to cook them. The boy realizes he has another concern. Alitoa understands that time has already passed. Here time flows differently, and the protagonist wonders if you will wake up in some strange situation. Alitoa says goodbye to the hero and wishes him luck. The main character is interested in what is happening now. He is very worried and hopes that Liz was not too upset because of him. The main character opens his eyes, notices how bright it is here, and wonders if this is his room. He hopes the guys have already returned and are okay. He just spoke with God, but it was not a dream. He notices something with surprise. A girl is lying and sleeping on his bed. He thinks she has been taking care of him all this time. The boy tries to wake her up. Lali's hero addresses the girl, but she does not wake up. Strangely, she is still sleeping. He quietly gets out of bed and thinks that his body is fine. Only a few scratches. Nothing serious. The boy shakes the girl by the shoulder and wakes her up. Rejoices that she finally woke up. The girl says good morning to him and hugs him. Liz tells him that she was very worried about him. The boy tells her he will strangle her, and the girl starts hitting him. Liz was very angry at him. The boy says that he is fine, asks her to take a deep breath, and then asks if she has calmed down. The girl says yes. She told him that he had been unconscious for 3 days. Hetty and the guys brought him here after an examination by the healer, and they were told that these are symptoms of severe magical exhaustion. Liz admits that she was very afraid he would never wake up. The boy apologizes and says that now everything is fine and she does not need to worry. The main character says that he has returned. The girl is happy. The boy realizes that he acted recklessly, but is ready to do anything to be in this house again. Liz's mother tells him that she cooked soup for him, and he thanks her. She says she is very glad that he is okay. The healer said that after awakening, he will not be able to eat heavy food. The boy thinks that later he will find out how much he has to pay for the healer's examination. Liz's father tells the hero that they are going hunting and that he should rest today, but Liz wants to stay with him, and the boy agrees with her father. However, today he wanted to go to the guild. Liz says surprised that it is better for him to go tomorrow, he asks. Not to worry. A walk in the fresh air will not hurt. She adds that if he feels bad, he should return immediately. He agrees and wishes them success. The girl's mother admits that she's also worried. The boy says that today he just wanted to talk, will not take on any tasks. He just wants to find out what happened while he was unconscious. He thinks to check his skills while walking to the guild, so the boy asks the system to show him the current status, and the system shows the skills. The main character thought that he previously could not control water, and the system did not send notifications, because after the victory over the slime his body was tense, so notifications were turned off for safety. The boy enters the guild. Geddes asks surprised if he is already better. The boy shakes Geddes' hand and thanks everyone for their help during the mission. The main character wanted to apologize for having to carry him. He considered Geddes an emotional person and said that everything was fine. They quickly left the forest, met no one on the way, until suddenly someone loudly addressed the hero. The girl said that if he constantly took risks, she would be by his side. The hero thought that finding the group would be difficult, but wanted to trust Liz. The boy thanked her and said he was glad to hear that. He added that she should not become an adventurer. The girl did not understand why. She replied that she was still a hunter's apprentice, and should not refuse to become a huntress. He said she should first discuss it with her parents. Liz replied that of course she would tell her father, but the decision would remain hers. The girl wanted to become an adventurer and join his squad. The boy asked if she was sure. because she still had a lot to learn, and he did not want to put her in danger. She asked if he wanted her to help him. The hero replied that just as she worried about him, he would also worry about her. Liz said she was very glad to hear that, and also that she had skills, so she would definitely be useful to him. She had already decided to become a traveler, and he could not have convinced her otherwise. The main hero agreed with her and said that they should talk to her father. The man asked that boy if he had invited her. The girl said that it was her choice, and the boy wanted him to know. Lisa said that she had already seriously thought it over and firmly decided to become an adventurer. She said that she did not want to sit at home forever and worry about her boyfriend, and she also wanted to help. The girl said that she would go on the mission with the main hero. The hero said that he himself was surprised when he heard about it. The work of an adventurer is always associated with risks. He said that he would like the girl to finish her studies. The girl said that if she did not obey, she could get into trouble. The woman said that since they had discussed everything, they asked that boy to take care of their daughter. The hero said that he was very grateful to the girl for her desire to join him. The man saw that the hero completely trusted her. He said that this was an important moment in forming the group. The boy said that in case of danger, he would definitely protect her. The hero said that he relies on Liza. The girl's parents said that she had always been stubborn. When she decided something, she saw it through to the end. The man must take care of his daughter. The girl thanked her father and said that she would definitely become a good traveler. He asked her not to forget what she had already learned in their lessons. Liz replied that she would not let them down. The girl said that tomorrow they would go to the guild and register. The hero asked if she would go hunting. The man said there was nothing to worry about and that he would handle it himself in the forest. Now they had become comrades. The hero is glad that he has a friend, so he needs to decide what role she will play in the group considering her skills. She would most likely be a vanguard, but he doubted whether she could handle this role. He thought about putting her in the rear guard, but even if she shoots well with a bow, she won't cope with large animals, let alone monsters. With the strength skill, the vanguard role would suit her perfectly. He wondered whether it strengthens the bones or just adds strength and makes all the muscles stronger. The strength skill fills the wizard's entire body with magic. The girl asked the boy what he was thinking about, and he replied by asking what role she wanted. Liz said she didn't care. The girl said she thought she would fight with an axe. Liz said she could also use a shield. She said that during hunting she got along well with him. In that case, only the money issue remains to be resolved. Heavy armor is expensive, and he doesn't even have his own weapon. It would also be good to have a bow and arrows. He believes that one should not skimp on defense. Jer thought about going to conquer the goblins. There he could test how the girl would cope. Many trials awaited them. The boy suggested that the girl go to the blacksmith today and choose weapons for them. She replied that she wanted to meet someone today. The girl said that she was also a traveler, and if she was not mistaken, she was of the 9th rank. It seems she is currently looking for a group. Liz said that it was her childhood friend. They met about 10 years ago, and she often played at her house. She was also 15. The hero thought that she was his childhood friend and could be trusted. The boy asked her to meet, and the girl replied that she was already waiting for them at the guild, and that they had agreed to meet there yesterday. The hero said they needed to hurry because he did not think she was already waiting for them. The girl asked him not to worry. The boy thought that he had completely forgotten to keep track of time. In his entire life, he had never been late for work. The hero asked Liz what kind of person her friend was. She replied that since childhood, the girl had been very lively and always chased away bullies, but at the same time was a very kind child. The hero was convinced that she was a girl. He thought she could become a good ally. Liz introduced her friend. Fia greeted the main hero and Liz. The girl said that she only had brothers in her family, so she addressed the main hero as she was used to. She asked him to stop being shy and speak openly, because he was Liza's fiancé. Fia said that he recently killed a bunch of monsters on his own. He destroyed 30 of them in one go. The boy said that it was not only his merit, and he was also scolded. The girl asked him if he would mind if she became his second wife. The main hero thought that he was facing not just a difficult journey, but a real adventure. The girl said that she heard the boy defeated 6th rank monsters and called him a treasure. Liza said that the hero is not a thing. The main hero was a little puzzled that polygamy was allowed in the world. The boy apologized to the girl, said that nothing would come of it, and explained that according to the laws of his country, a man can be married to only one woman. The hero thought that he was still engaged to Liza, and polygamy did not interest him. The girl said that she registered and showed them her traveler's card. Fia said that she never thought she would become a seeker. Liza said that her brother was also a traveler. The girl said that since she decided to get married, she would find a home for herself. She suggested forming a group, and they replied that Liza herself wanted to propose that. Fia said that her friend used to be a crybaby. The girls decided that they are happy with their cooperation. The comrades were making plans for the day, and the main hero suggested going to the blacksmith. The hero asked Liz what weapon she likes. She replied that she likes the hammer and it suits her. The girl asked her friend for an opinion, and she said that she looks like a real traveler. The boy thought that he should also get a new weapon. He wanted to pay, but Liz said she would pay herself. The hero said that they do not go shopping every day. Fia said that then she would buy something for herself. Liz forbade her. The girl thanked the main hero. The boy said that he is glad they bought new equipment. Actually, all this costs quite a lot, but thanks to the reward for the slime, he now has a lot of money. Fia asked him to show her magic. The boy said he doesn't mind, but first they need to find a quiet place. The girl said she knows one place on the outskirts of the village. They arrived at the place. This was a training ground where the girl sometimes trained the hero, and the hero asked for permission to take a leaf from the tree. He used wind magic, compressed the spell to 5 millimeters, formed a cone 1 centimeter high, and released it. The hero activated all these skills at a speed of 150 kilometers. Fia asked if he was really a beginner. The girl said that beginners cannot use such strong magic. Usually, they do not yet know how to use magic, so they start by learning magical formulas and have to get used to magical energy. She said that such magic is available only to a mage of the academy, or those who use a simulator. A wizard acquaintance told her about this. It helps to better imagine the casting process in the mind. That is, it facilitates the application of spells, and he said that it allows one to clearly envision the result. In other words, the simulator is something like an assistant app, and the hero said that he should try it. He saw everything as if it were a game, as if he was controlling a game character. The boy decided to approach closer and he succeeded, but it was difficult and he felt unwell. He began to move and felt as if he was creating a 3-dimensional model of himself. In his imagination, everything happened quite simply. It was as if input buttons appeared in his head, and he could use them just like in a simulator. He wanted to imagine a huge slime monster, but a warning about danger appeared. The girl thought that he used the simulator to win. However, it was very difficult. He first had to get used to this feeling. The hero said that he was tired after working with the simulator and that he should practice before applying it in practice. He said that he should not be considered some kind of professional. Fia asked where he learned magic, and the girl replied that it was in the magic goods store. She said that he dropped out of the academy and didn't even finish school. The girl said it was strange how quickly he mastered magic. The hero said he had a good teacher. The boy wondered if it was safe to use the simulator now. This technique was significantly different from others. The locals used simple images. The owner creates a 3-dimensional model of the situation, which uses too much power. It turns out that the inhabitants of that world imagine the situation as a picture, but he creates a complete model of this situation. The point is that he is used to playing first-person games. The system said that others would not understand why magic is so easy for him. He knows the games of his world, but a large amount of knowledge negatively affects his abilities and overloads his mind. And it seems that the more dangerous the situation, the greater the load. Thea suggested going goblin hunting because they bought new equipment. The main character said that he agreed with them because there was still enough time. Lizzie just needed to level up. Now it was necessary to carefully think about the simulators, and more questions arose. The main character was hunting in that area because there was a lot of grass there. 2 goblins were approaching them. They hear the idea to hide first. He asked the girl to look around and told the other to attack as soon as he gave the signal. That man said to take the one on the right and hit him with a hammer as hard as possible. If something happened, he would be there. The hero thought that he was not used to this yet and needed more practice. The simulation was ready. The magical power was too great. It needed to be reduced a bit. The simulation is very convenient when adjusting the spell's power. Lizzie asked about cutting off the goblin's ears, and the hero thought she did great. Moreover, she had nothing against cutting monsters. It was clear that she had done it more than once, and he thought she would become a great adventurer. Fia said that this was her first hunt as an adventurer and asked to share her impressions. Lizzie said that training with her father helped her a lot. The boy thought that she had real talent, although waiting was hard. The woman said that for 20 goblins they give 40,000 vils. For 30 bundles of grass they give a vase for 24,000. She gave him 64,000 vils. The man said that they would divide the money into 4 parts. Part of the money should be left on the group's balance. The girls replied that since he was their leader, he should do as he knows. Fia was surprised that even after the division it came out to 16,000 village. She had never earned that much in a day. The most she could kill herself was 3 goblins. Liz said that it was much scarier alone. Gro replied that it was indeed much calmer in the group. They said goodbye. The boy thought that she liked everything. The main character said that he was going to the church and asked the girl to come home because he wanted to pray for the safety of their group. She replied that he should return quickly. The main character began to pray to God. The system issued a critical error. An unknown system connected. The boy thought that the system had issued a warning again. In front of him stood a beautiful girl who told him that he had come a long way to meet her, and she prayed. She said that it was nice to meet and introduce herself. DCS said that she controls the power of recovery. The main character also loved to communicate with her. He said he was worried because he had too much incredible power for that world and feared that his knowledge could affect that world. He is the only person in that world who always carries a weapon with him. The girl said that a weapon is a reflection of the will of the one who uses it. Even a simple stick can be a weapon. They reviewed the rules of using magic. If he really influenced the world too much, they interfered, so he had nothing to worry about, and he was very kind. She said she received a message from Electoa. The girl said she would give him a special skill. She said she dulled his sense of pain and asked him to cut his hand. The hero was surprised. She added that there was no need to worry. If it didn't work, she would help. The boy thought that he really felt nothing. Tissia said that he succeeded, and she even saw the bone. The hero was afraid that he might die. The girl replied that everything was fine and told him to heal his hand with magic. She told him to imagine it and use simulation. The hero imagined that his hand was restored. He activated the skill. There was not even a scar left on the hand. The girl said that this was the skill she gave him. She said that usually such a wound takes a long time to heal. Moreover, mages often cannot clearly imagine the healing process, but in his case everything happened faster than she expected. The hero thought that he now had a divine gift, but the girl said that it was not so. Dissia added that if he suddenly needed anything, no matter what it was related to, she would always respond to him. She added that she would like to talk to him longer, but he already had to go. She needed to finish one matter. He apologized for distracting her. The girl said to come any time. She hoped that they would meet again. The system reported that the connection was confirmed and the critical error was fixed. A new skill of controlling divine magic has been acquired. Now the hero could heal any wounds. It was enough just to use the simulation. He thanked the goddess for such an ability. The boy came home. The girl told him to rest, but he refused. The hero asked if dinner was ready, and Liz said that they needed to wait for the father and have dinner together. Jiro suggested she train before dinner, and she agreed. He said they would take care of her safety. The man said he would attack her and she should try to defend herself. She perfectly repelled all attacks. He thought it was because of her sharp eyesight, which she gained during training. The hero asked her to try attacking with the shield immediately after defense. This is a useful skill that she should also master. He said that in battles she might lose her weapon, so it is important to be able to defeat the enemy even without it. The boy told them to continue training. Her father returned after some time and asked what they were doing. The man asked him if he had regained consciousness after fainting. The hero replied that everything was fine. The girl said that dinner was ready. The hero believed that the issue was not his injury, but the difference in age and strength. The girl was asked about receiving the award. The man told her not to be arrogant because she was not like that. He said that she exceeded all his expectations and also performed well in the group. The boy said that the way she killed the goblin was impressive. She replied that she was just trying to replicate her father's movements. The hero said that it seems she is trying her best to apply and practice all the experience she received from him. The man said not to forget about caution. Liz replied that she would try even harder and earn a lot of money. The girl said she would handle the dishes herself. The boy asked if they bring water from the well every morning. His guest confirmed his arrival, and the woman said that she goes to the well early in the morning. The hero said that it must be hard for her, and that he would start bringing water tomorrow. He apologized for not helping earlier. They said that he works very hard and needs to rest more. He thought that compared to working in a company, this was a trifle. He was told to focus on the adventurer's work, and the house would take care of itself. The hero decided to figure out the new skill. He was glad that he managed to talk to God. At first, he needed to understand what he could do with this simulation. He imagined flying in the sky, but nothing worked out. The boy decided to start with something simple. He activated wind magic and attached the spell under the paper. The hero initially decided to try without the simulation. He did not set the speed and activated the skill. The hero imagines wind magic activating under his feet. He did it. If you imagine everything correctly, you can achieve good results. He thought it was like manipulating gravity. The hero thought it was an amazing feeling, and that he was gliding through the air. Once he got used to it, he would be able to use flight in battle. He felt free. The girl asked what he was doing. She said her mother was worried because he was working too much. The boy gave her a ride, and the girl said she felt a little embarrassed. He was so excited that he acted like a child and was shy. She said it was as if he was gliding through the air, and the hero replied that he still needed to practice, but he thought he would soon be able to fly freely. Liz said that he was incredible and continued to develop and improve. She said she would also train hard not to fall behind him, and that they would try together. He thought that although still inexperienced, his magic in this world was incredibly strong, so he could do anything. The girl said that the hero was literally gliding in the air. She said that they were even taller than her house, and he hugged her. The boy thought that she really liked last night, and in the morning she told everyone about it. Liz said that he lifted her like a princess, and at that moment her heart beat fast. Fia also wanted to fly, but the girl did not allow her. The boy said he could carry her on his back. The girl wanted to be in his arms, and the hero thought she was acting like a child. If they were in Japan, they would still be schoolgirls. No one would allow them to fight monsters. The girl noticed that the boy was thinking about something. He said he just thought that they were so young, and he didn't like that they had to fight monsters. They told him that they were already adults. Liz said she was glad because she could earn money. The main hero thought that the girls were very similar to each other. He decided to give Fia a ride, and she really liked it. But he didn't do that for long because Liz was against it. They had to go to work. The girl said that next time she also wants to fly on his back. The boy agreed and said that if she wants, he can do it. Liz was cheerful and ready to work. They also earned a lot today. The boy said he wants to go to the blacksmith. The girl said she heard that there are new goods in the jewelry store, so she will go there. Liz said she also wants to see the new goods and decided to go with her friend. The hero came to the blacksmith and greeted him. He said he wants to look at the copies today and asked to choose the best options. He was offered one a little shorter than the others, but much stronger, and the hero asked to try it. It turned out to be heavier than it seemed. It had a good balance and a length that suited him perfectly. It cost 70,000 with a special discount. The hero thought that in Japan, for that money, you could buy a computer. He decided to buy it and thought it would serve him for several years. The hero asked for parchment or something to write on. The man asked him to follow and said that he could use the room. There was parchment and a pen. On that side, they were still drawing water from the well. Carrying water every day is very hard work. With a pump, it is much easier to get water. He was glad that he could open the encyclopedia on his phone. The boy said that the mechanism could easily produce water. The man said that he never thought something like that could work that way. He said he wanted to show the plans to the Lord. The man said that the actual ruler of those lands is the Viscount, and then the news would reach the Duke. Maybe these plans would reach the king. The boy asked him about the patent. The man said that one could get exclusive rights to sell. He said that if he created a large company, he could establish mass production, but alone it would be difficult. Part of the sales is better conducted through a reliable trading company. The boy agreed. The blacksmith noted that he is close to the head of the blacksmith guild, and probably he would support the idea, and added that his mother also goes for water every day. The man said that forges need a lot of water, and if there is a way to make life easier for it, he will do everything. The hero said that he relies on him. The man said that the design is so simple that even forging would not be needed, and the boy asked for some time and promised to make one prototype. The blacksmith said that when he finished, he asked to bring it to the house of Esto. The main character introduced himself. The man said that this mechanism would greatly help his mother, and from that day he became the closest friend of their family. The blacksmith said it was time to get to work, and he had no time for talking. The hero thought it was good because soon he would be able to get a pump, and if it became widespread, it would change everyone's life. He thought it was already too late, but he had to ask, so he turned to God. He asked who could spread the hand pump in that world. God said it was not a problem because in the distant future he would appear anyway. He added that the man could ask him questions any time. God also said he was trying a new flavor of chips, something like spicy strawberry. The hero said he couldn't even imagine what that taste was like. He thought that Japanese companies sometimes release incomprehensible things. The boy met the girls who had already returned. They bought bracelets for themselves and said they bought one for him too. The girls said these would be their clan bracelets. The heroes thanked them. Fia said that if he wanted to make her his second wife, he should let her know. Liz replied that this would not happen. The boy thought the problem was still ahead. Fia said that the girl was almost used to the hammer and always hits the weak spots. The girl replied that she felt like she had already killed a bunch of goblins, probably because they hunt in a group. Lunch had not yet come, but they had already killed 20 goblins, which was significantly more than yesterday. Recently they encountered significantly more goblins than usual. Not even half a day had passed, and they had already killed 20 goblins. Usually they found that many in a day. The boy decided not to rush to conclusions. The woman noticed that they returned earlier today. The girl said that they finished the task quickly and could help with the laundry. They earned a lot today. The boy asked to borrow a jug of water. The girl said she would go with him and show where the well was. It was quite a good well. The hero thought that washing by hand was hard, and now he understood the advantage of a washing machine. He considered that working with water was really very hard. The boy decided to go check the pump tomorrow. He went to the blacksmith and started asking how things were going. The man said that he decided to assemble a wooden structure, and if it succeeded, he would cast it in bronze. This means that he decided to first make a model to test the pump's operation, and the protagonist thanked him. The blacksmith said that he had already contacted the guild and they would send a researcher to them. He said that after testing the wooden model, in his opinion, they would be offered a joint development, and they would be able to discuss the project with officials. The hero was not sure that officials could be trusted. The man said that everything was fine, that he had worked with them before, and that if anything happened, they could turn to him. The hero apologized for being late because he was finishing some business, and by that time the girls had already managed to kill 10 goblins. Fia thinks that today they will not be able to rest again. The boy asked if they had seen any other monsters. The girl said they had not seen anything strange. From the northwest, 2 more goblins were approaching them. Fia said she was already tired. The hero replied that they needed to return to the village as soon as possible. Liz did not understand what was happening and said that the hero looked scared, and the boy replied that something was bothering him and he was going to the guild. He had seen such situations in games, like a special event, an invasion, or a monster surge. The situation became very serious when a horde of goblins was coming at them. For 60 goblins, they were given 120,000 vils. They earned well. The man said that Liz was ready to be promoted to the 9th rank. She met the promotion requirements, so no exam was needed. The girl said that only a few days had passed since she registered, and they had already earned so much. She began to be congratulated. She thanked them and said she did not even know how to feel. The boy asked the girls if they were going to training. Fia said it was still too early to go home, and the hero said he still had business, so he asked them to go without him and be careful. The girl said he looked like her father. The hero thought that he did not need such an adult child. Hettis apologized for the delay and said that he received the report, and that the man did a good job. The man said that such guild paper is used for documents, and due to the complexity of manufacturing, it is not very common among people. The hero forgot that he was a scout from the guild and decided to pretend that he did not understand anything. He was told to first review the documents, and it was a report on the increase in the number of goblins. In the last 10 days, their number had tripled. The number of monsters continued to grow, and he inquired about the reason. The boy said that they probably have a goblin king. He said that this is the leader who unites all the goblins into one horde. The hero said that this was what caused such a sharp increase in the number of goblins. The man said that every winter they suffer from a severe lack of food during the season of attacks on villages. Winter was still far away. Ruins usually travel in small groups. But when the Goblin King appears, everything changes. Small groups merge into one and form a real horde, then attack the village. This happened every year, and the hero said that measures needed to be taken to counter this. Hatti said that every year they are sent a special order of knights. The hero thought that they had already encountered a similar problem many times, but the reports from 30 years ago confused him. Every winter the number of goblins increases significantly, so an attack is expected soon, but the last 2 times the invasion happened earlier than usual. He asked what would happen if the invasion occurred earlier, and that man replied that then the guilds would have to use reserves and defend the village on their own. The main hero did not like where things were going. He asked how many goblins would attack, and he was told that their number fluctuates from 300 to 400. He jokingly said that adventurers could defeat them themselves, but there would be losses. Previously, there had already been casualties among the adventurers. According to the data, the attack happened much earlier than usual. A horde of goblins will soon attack the village. The man asked if knights could be summoned now. Ketty said that this decision is made by the government, and the guild does not have such authority. He had already sent a request for help. Asked the hero not to disclose this information. In the end, he was the only one who noticed it. The boy said he was counting on him. The hero thought that now he would not be able to refuse. The main hero said that he could run away. He was told that when he was forbidden to speak, he could be declared wanted if he fled. He thought that he did not want to become an enemy of the guild. If he was already involved in this matter, he needed to find out as much as possible, so he asked what time the invasion might happen this time. Hettis replied that in about a week he would definitely find out when the scouts return, and a week was not enough to prepare. The man said that due to unexpected changes in time, he thought the knights would make it. The main character asked about the difference between the Goblin King and ordinary goblins. Hatti said that he is much stronger and possibly even resistant to magic. The hero decided that this is his worst enemy and will try to stay away. The hero asked what was next, and he replied that the guild would first gather resources, and starting tomorrow the reward for killing a goblin would increase by 50%, with about 50 adventurers participating in the battle. The hero thought that he had stayed too long and had to return. He apologized and asked to be told about the invasion of his group. Ketty said that he would like as few people as possible to know about it. The hero thought that running away was not an option, thanked the man, said it was time for him to leave, and T apologized for keeping him. The main character asked who that man obeys. He was told that he answers to the head of their guild. The hero thought that Hades is cool. The hero thought that it was good that only goblins would attack them and regretted not having read the combat survival guide. The boy came home and apologized for being late because he thought his girlfriend had good intuition. The hero told her that they needed to talk. She said that from his face it was clear that something was wrong. The hero said he would tell her everything when they all gathered. The girl assumed that it was related to his current condition, and the boy said that it was so, but he could not tell everything now and would explain everything tomorrow. Liz said she would wait until tomorrow, and the man thanked her and apologized for the inconvenience. The girl said that he did not need to apologize. She was just very worried. Last time he barely held back trembling, but now he has a group that will cover him on the battlefield, and healing magic. Even if he gets very scared and wants to run as far as possible, he still won't be able to leave the girls. He needed to decide how to inform his comrades of the important news, and Phi agreed with them, thinking they had quarreled. The boy said they were going to the negotiation room. The girl immediately understood that he had news for them. The hero asked the girls if they knew that goblins attack every year. They replied that usually knights deal with them. The heroes said there is a high probability that the invasion will happen much earlier this year. Most likely the knights will not make it, and in that case the travelers will have to defend the village. He said that this is confidential information, and they should not tell anyone about it. He also had a non-disclosure order. It is expected that the horde will number about 400 goblins, which is approximately twice the entire population of the village. The girls said that although they are weak and small, when there are many of them, they can cause quite a few problems. The guild also took measures and has a simple plan. They need to kill as many goblins as possible before the attack begins. The hero said they need to prepare. At first, he thought the guild would approve a small loan for them. The girl was happy about the new weapon, but the boy said that if they change weapons now, they will have to get used to it for a long time, so it is better to look for good equipment. The girls said that since yesterday there have been significantly more goblins and they are becoming quite dangerous. The hero thought that even just being in the forest is quite tiring. After training, he realized that evaluation magic has its range of effect. It depends on training, but now it is about 20 meters, and for now, that is the limit he is capable of. He wanted to avoid close combat if possible, wanted to throw the spear but did not know how. The hero said that he thought a little and thanked the girl for defeating the goblin. Liz said the bag is full and they killed about 80 goblins. The heroes said they are done for today and their goal was to kill 80 goblins per day. The girl wondered what the reward would be today. For one goblin it is 2,000, so for all it will be 160,000. They were told that for 80 goblins they will receive 240,000 will. She was surprised by such a large sum of money. The heroes recalled that he was told the reward for monsters would increase by 50%. Together with the deferred money, each received 60,000. The girl said she had never seen so much money, and the wallet was so heavy it seemed like it was about to tear. The girls decided to prepare well for tomorrow. The boy was glad he was not in a good mood, and they wanted to go to the gun shop. The man thanked them for the purchase and said he would deliver a copy to them within 2 days. The girls thanked him and said they were going to training. The main character asked them to be careful and asked the blacksmith if he could improve his weapon. The man said that he had never received such requests before. That man said not to worry about pain. The blacksmith said it would cost 5,000. He said the order would be ready in about 4 days. The hero thanked him. The hero doubted his ability to control water. He did not know what attacks could be made with magic and water, so he decided to ask a friend. The boy said that his lessons helped him a lot. Bastiath said he was glad to hear that. The hero said he wanted to ask him about water magic. The main hero said he possessed water magic. The boy replied that it was useful and that with it he would always have drinking water. He said he had heard little about offensive water spells, but travelers always need to have a supply of drinking water. This magic did not have the same range and power as lightning magic, but he could try to combine the elements. The hero began to recite the spell, but the man asked him to wait and gave him a bucket. It was just cold water. The man said that at least he could pour boiling water on the enemy. The hero thought that for now that would be enough for him. The woman was surprised that he came. One hero said that his girlfriend was training with a friend now, and he went to the wizard. She said he looked unwell and suggested that he had not been sleeping well. The woman said that as long as he lived with them, because they were family and she considered him her son, he did not need to keep everything inside. They were always ready to help. He remembered that the boss had told him the same thing. The woman told him that he was not alone, and he thanked her. The mastery of magic has not improved at all. Only the general skills have slightly increased. The hero decided that he needed to become much stronger. He realized that there was no need to rush, so he calmed down and focused on the goal. He wanted to become strong enough to protect the girls. The meat was tender and tasty. The man said they would soon prepare supplies for the winter. The girl was told that if she ate a lot, she would gain weight. The boy laughed and said he wanted to see her like that. Liz said that would not happen. The hero felt as if all his problems had just disappeared. He was a little embarrassed, but had to master the basic movements. It seems he has become more enduring. Usually his training lasts 50 minutes. Now he trains for more than an hour. Since the time he ended up in that world, he became much more athletic. At first, he could barely endure physical exertion. The girl told him not to overwork and asked him not to do everything by himself. He apologized and said that it was an old habit, and he always tries to do everything himself. Liz said that when he exhausts himself like that, she feels very sad and they all worry about him. The hero thanked her for always being there and said he was grateful. He thought she cared about him, but he himself did not notice it at all. He said that from now on he would rely more on her and her friend and ask them for help. The hero no longer wants to bother them. If he does not help them in return, it will look like imposition. That is why he wants to become stronger to fight them. The girl wanted to be with him her whole life. The hero said that today they would train in team battles against the horde and goblins. He had already noticed 10 goblins nearby and would deal with them later. The boy asked the girls to wait for him. He imagined the air rising. It was hard for him to maintain the same speed. He saw 2 goblins and understood from their behavior that they were scouts. He saw 3 more goblins. There were so many of them that he didn't even have to look for them. Looking at the goblins, the hero realized that they could be divided into 3 types: scouts, hunters, and those who flee from any danger. Sometimes he noticed that there were quarrels among the goblins. The main character thought that he had gathered enough. He apologized for the delay. The girls were happy to see him again. The boy said that the goblins would arrive soon. He said that the girls were in the vanguard, and he would cover them. The hero ordered them to watch their comrades and not to forget to defend themselves and attack when the opportunity arises. The boy thought that if they relaxed, the goblins would surround them, and he would take the training weapon to keep them at a distance. The hero told the girls to keep up the good work, watch their surroundings, and not forget about protection. He needed to quickly heal Liza's wound. She was probably in a lot of pain. The boy thought he had rushed, and they were not yet ready for such training. Fia finished off the last goblin. The hero healed the girl so well that there was not even a scar left from the wound. She asked him not to worry about the injury. It was important for them to continue the team battle training, and she said that nothing terrible had happened. He wrote a thought about not giving up. He said that tomorrow they would repeat the team battle. And that was all for today. The boy said they needed to gather evidence and return to the village. She said she did not want to look at the goblin's insides. The hero asked her to take a closer look. Inside the stomach there was almost nothing, but there was a lot of food on the goblin itself. The girl assumed that they were forced to hunt. The man said that despite the large amount of food, their stomachs were empty. He thought that they were taking food for someone else. The goblins had their own hierarchy.